The Galactic Coliseum of Zephyria Prime had witnessed countless battles over the millennia. Champions from across the known universe had bled, died, and achieved glory within its crystalline walls that stretched impossibly high into the alien sky. Today, however, something unprecedented was about to unfold. Commander Thexkai of the Vorthon Empire adjusted his forearms, each gripping a different weapon forged from the finest materials his warrior race could produce. Plasma sword, neural disruptor, gravity hammer, and kinetic shield, the traditional loadout that had made him undefeated in 317 consecutive battles. Across the arena's various starting platforms, other champions prepared with equal intensity. Essus Latha, the serpentine assassin from the Naga Consortium, coiled her 15-foot frame around her preferred perch, venom sacs pulsing with anticipation. Her bio-enhanced claws gleamed with molecular sharp edges, and her heat vision implants painted thermal readings across her field of view. High above, Kronks the Destroyer flexed his massive silicon carbide exoskeleton, the rock-like behemoth. From the asteroid belts needed no weapons. His fists could shatter starship hulls, and his skin could deflect military-grade plasma cannons. In the premium viewing boxes, representatives from dozens of species watched with a mixture of excitement and confusion. The confusion stemmed from the final participant, who had somehow earned his way into this championship bout despite being from a species nobody had ever heard of. The human stood on Platform 7. Marcus Chen, according to the registration files, though the name meant nothing to the assembled crowd. He appeared remarkably ordinary. Bipedal, carbon-based, roughly 6 feet in height with standard bilateral symmetry. No visible weapons, no armor, no biomodifications or cybernetic enhancements. He wore simple black clothing that seemed more suited for casual exercise than mortal combat. "This is either an elaborate joke or a suicide mission," muttered Ambassador Keltar to his aide, his insectoid mandibles clicking with nervous energy. The arena's AI announced the beginning of the championship in 17 different languages simultaneously. Energy barriers dropped. The other champions immediately sprang into action with the fluid efficiency of apex predators. Thexkai launched himself toward the nearest opponent with a battle cry that could shatter glass. Salatha became a blur of scales and death, striking with precision that had ended civilizations. Kronks charged forward like a living avalanche, each footstep creating small seismic events in the arena floor. Marcus Chen walked, not jogged, not sprinted, not charged. He simply walked at a measured pace toward the center of the arena, hands at his sides, expression calm and focused. The other champions, initially dismissive of the strange biped, found their attention repeatedly drawn to him as his unusual behavior became impossible to ignore. Salatha struck first, her molecular claws whistling through the air toward his unprotected torso. In the split second before impact, Marcus shifted his weight and turned slightly. The lethal claws passed harmlessly through empty space as he continued walking, now angled toward her extended position. Before she could recover, his hand touched her neck. Not a strike, just a touch, and the serpentine warrior collapsed instantly, unconscious. The arena fell silent except for the ongoing battles between the other champions. Thexkai paused his assault on Kronks to stare. In 3 centuries of combat, he had never seen Salatha defeated so easily. The human hadn't even seemed to try. There had been no visible technique, no energy discharge, no apparent force behind the contact. Kronks, distracted by the impossible scene, left himself open to Thexkai's plasma sword. But the Vorthon commander found he couldn't concentrate on his own battle. The human was walking toward them now, still maintaining that same unhurried pace, stepping over and around the unconscious form of one of the deadliest assassins in known space. "What kind of warrior fights like that?" Thexkai whispered, momentarily forgetting he was in mortal combat. Marcus answered by reaching them. Kronk swung a massive fist that could have pulverized a small building. The human moved like water, flowing around the attack with minimal effort. His hand found a specific point on the giant's exoskeleton, pressed briefly, and the destroyer toppled like a falling mountain, systems shutting down in cascade failure. Thexkai found himself alone with the human, 4 weapons ready, 300, and 17 victories behind him, and absolutely no idea what he was facing. He attacked with everything he had, a whirlwind of plasma and kinetic energy that should have been overwhelming. Marcus moved through the assault like a choreographed dance. Every strike missed by millimeters. Every defensive position was countered before it could be established. When the human finally made contact, a gentle tap to Thexkai's primary shoulder joint, the Vorthan's nervous system simply stopped responding to his commands. The arena was now completely silent. Marcus stood alone among three of the galaxy's most feared champions, all defeated without a single visible injury, without any apparent exertion, and without any weapons beyond his bare hands. He looked up at the viewing boxes where hundreds of representatives from the most powerful civilizations in known space sat in stunned silence. "I believe," he said, his voice carrying clearly in the artificial atmosphere, "there's been some confusion about what humans bring to galactic society." Ambassador Keltar's aide whispered, "Sir, what just happened?" The ambassador's compound eyes remained fixed on the human below. "I believe we just discovered that while we've been advancing our technology for millennia, one species has been advancing something else entirely." Marcus walked toward the arena's exit with the same measured pace he had maintained throughout the entire encounter. "My species would like to discuss trade agreements," he called over his shoulder. "We have much to offer." In the following days, every major government would send delegations to Earth, not to conquer or to study, but to very politely ask if humanity might be interested in sharing some of their techniques for resolving conflicts. The age of human diplomacy had begun not with words, but with the simple demonstration that sometimes the most advanced weapon is an advanced understanding of how not to need weapons at all. As one Galactic Council member would later write in his memoir, "We spent eons perfecting the art of war. The humans, it seemed, had perfected something far more dangerous, the art of making war unnecessary.